Losing your period is not normal. And if you have lost your period, your health could be at risk. The loss of a period for 3 or more consecutive months is what is known as hypothalamic amenorrhea, and it's dangerous. Hypothalamic amenorrhea can have impacts on our kidneys, heart, bones, and a plethora of other organs. In fact, we see a 60% increased risk of bones fractures with prolonged hypothalamic amenorrhea. Now, you might just be thinking, okay, Sheena, so I won't trip over any cats and I will be just fine. Often, this is dialogue of an individual with an eating disorder who doesn't quite understand the urgency associated with resuming their period if they have lost a period. And to that, I will say, okay, we can avoid these situations, which might put us at risk of fracture, but it is not simply tripping over something that is going to cause chaos in our body and our bones. So, for example, we often see the spine start to collapse on itself with prolonged loss of period and malnutrition. Loss of period is often something that comes along with Rett syndrome, or formerly known as the female athlete triad, and really competitive athletes. However, I really encourage you to not think of loss of period as being a symptom of just exercising really intensely. So, note that losing your period is not normal, and it is very urgent that you take the steps and get the support that you need to get your period back if you've lost your period. Now, when an individual has lost their period, sometimes they are encouraged to take birth control in order to elicit a period. However, I highly discourage this, and a health professional that is well trained in eating disorders will as well, because this actually elicits a basically placebo period, which masks some of these symptoms of malnutrition that really need to be addressed in order to facilitate a real period. If you have lost your period, it is very important that you work with a professional that can give you a custom tailored plan to help you meet your energy needs. Energy dense foods that can help you to get your period back include things like avocados, ice cream, butter, full fat yogurt, seeds, nuts, and red meats. So, these are some types of foods that might make it a little bit easier for you to get that period back, but they must be consumed alongside with an appropriate energy meal plan. And an eating disorder dietitian can really help you to implement that. Sometimes these meal plans can be very high energy because our primary goal is to get that period back as soon as we possibly can to prevent any long term damage. The unfortunate reality is that sometimes when we have a loss of period, it can take anywhere between 6 months to a year to resume that period, even if we are taking all of the correct actions. Sometimes the period can be the last thing to come back, even if we have fully weight restored from an eating disorder. And this can sometimes be very frustrating with individuals who are doing everything that they can to properly nourish. So, if you are struggling to get your period back, just know that it will resume most likely if with proper nutrition. If not, that is something that you're definitely going to want to address with your healthcare professional. Also, note that periods do not always resume as you reach the body weight that you had prior to an eating disorder coming into play. Sometimes what we need to see for a period to resume is what we call overshoot weight. So this is weight that is anything above what our quote unquote normal body weight would have been before we implemented food restriction or compulsive exercise or other eating disorder behaviors. And this is because our body is taking that extra measure to repair all of our organs before resuming menses. Our body wants to make sure that we are safe before it provides us with the ability to, again, potentially reproduce, which would be a large toll on the body.